Hello and welcome to Ready Bet Action. We're coming at you recording on Sunday night after most of the NFL action has already happened. We're going to give you some picks and plays for Monday's games. We have two Monday Night Football games this week, which is super exciting. That's a lot of football on a Monday, but I'm not complaining about it. Stave, any initial thoughts first on today's slate of games? I know we were kind of looking to see what a bounce back was after week one. Are things more normalized? Anything surprise you? How do you feel about it?
Two thoughts. Sunday started with a beautiful CU victory. I believe that was after midnight. So
Yes,
that was
yes, it
nice.
did.
We bounced back in a great way. We had an absolutely amazing day today. We were up 4.5 units. We went 1, 2, 3, 5-1 today. We did really well yesterday. On the weekend, like since Thursday night football, we are up 6.81 units. So that means if you'd be putting $100 down on every bet, you'd be up $681. So we are excited about that. I'd say we bounced back. I think we have a pretty good idea. I think we also kind of honed in on a few things. I think looking at some of the obvious plays was in our advantage, especially in that Minnesota game, as well as I think just finding some really good props. And I think our show is going to be known for the show that takes the wide receiver 2 receiving yards over, because those just keep hitting, and we're not going to
We
stop.
really do. No. That's just The wide receiver one is just so like you just never know. And then the wide receiver twos, though, I think it takes a while for those to get caught up, honestly. So I do think early in the season we can do that. But yeah, I was also at that CU game, which we'll talk about that maybe at college later, because me and you are gonna have some healthy discussions about CU Oregon this week for sure with you as an Oregon fan. But that's why my voice is raspy today. If it sounds any different, I taught some children sitting in front of me some new profanities for sure at that game last night. So super excited to dive into these. In addition to us being up on our units, we've neglected to mention that I've also joined I've joined a survivor pick pool, and that's something I want to be giving out what my pick for the week is going to be. But I did pick Dallas today, which was great. Got my survivor pick done with Dallas. So I have now burned the Commanders and I've burned the Cowboys, which is cool because those are both teams I think later in the year you're probably not going to want to use anyways. I heard there's a lot of people on the Cowboys or on the Broncos. And there are a lot. Yeah. And there are a lot of people on the Giants. The Giants barely pulled it off. That is an interesting team that people in your office pick them or a survivor pool. Like, it's going to be hard trying to figure out what the Giants are going to do week to week, I think, at this point. So
yeah, it's not looking great. We missed that. We were on Giants -4. That 3. I mean, they didn't really deserve it. We didn't deserve to win that. They looked terrible today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, before we jump in, let's go ahead and get our soccer pick out of the way for tomorrow. This is for both Monday plays, right, Safe?
Yeah, so unfortunately, Eric, I deleted the soccer play because upon further review, no, I wanted to go with Nottingham Forest on the money line at +120. Burnley just promoted along with Nottingham Forest, but Burnley's actually won like 4 of their last 5 games against each other, so I was a little bit nervous. Nottingham Forest is in better form right now. I will play this personally, but it's not a show bet. But I do like Nottingham to win.
Well, I still had it in my show notes, but you did say that before we hopped on. That is fair. All right. Well, in that case, let's stick to all NFL. Why don't you take us through your NFL picks, and we'll chat through those. You got a couple for us.
Yeah, so I am going to go with 2 wide receivers that I think will produce very well for the New Orleans Saints, especially because their numbers are just too low. So my first one is going to be Chris Olave over 4.5 receptions. That's just way too low. He's cleared this number in 8 of his last 12 games, and last week he had 8 receptions. Like, he is going to be a focal point in this offense, and they can really target him anywhere on the field, as we saw in his career at Ohio State and even his rookie year last year. So love this one. My next one, this is Rashid Shaheed over 37.5 receiving yards. This is crazy. If you look at his stats over the past 7 games, he's cleared this number in 6 of them. So 6 of the last 7 games, he's hit this. And that 7th game, he hit 34. So he is involved in the offense. This number is way too low, criminally low. And this will be a play for me. If it stays under 40, I will be playing this every week. So Rashid Shaheed over 37.5 receiving yards. That's going to move pretty quick tomorrow. So because I've seen it on a couple other shows too. So get it in tonight if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think that somehow the NFL or the betting market doesn't catch up to these like second and third receivers. And to me, it's like, are we still considering Michael Thomas like the Saints number one, or like what's happening here that Chris Olave is not getting the same type of reception love that who I think, I mean, he's clearly their best receiver like on that team and will be like their main target, even if he doesn't play the traditional number one receiver spot, so yeah, I think that's great. I think that Chris Olave wants free money. And I'm excited to do the Rashid Shaheed one along with you. But I'm going to dive in. I actually stayed away from that game. I'm glad we came with picks from the two different games because honestly, I didn't really see anything in the. You found some that I actually like. I just didn't see them. But I'm going to stick with the Steelers and Browns game, and I'm going to keep. I'm going to keep this pretty simple. I'm going to go ahead and take the home team on the money line with the Steelers. I don't think either of these teams look particularly good. And, you probably say, like, oh, well, the Browns are 1-0 and beat the Bengals. I'm like, yeah, but did they really look that great or did the Bengals really look that bad? And I'm not a Deshaun Watson believer, and that's going to be the basis of a lot of my bets here. I'm also not a Kenny Pickett believer. Like, we have two very subpar quarterbacks. Like, Deshaun Watson's QBR is floating around 56 right now. He threw for, I think, 150 yards, a touchdown, and an interception last week. It's not inspiring a ton of confidence. Kenny Pickett, I don't think any of us have a ton of trust in. These are two very average quarterbacks at best. And so I'm going to stick with that. And because of what I just said, I'm also going to go with the under of 38. I think this is an old-fashioned AFC North rock fight. We're going to get a lot of field goals here. Someone is going to win this game like 17-13. That's kind of how I see this game. I don't see there being a lot of touchdowns. I know 38 is a low number, but I still think it's going to be.
It's low for a reason.
Yes, exactly. It's sub 38 because it's just two very unimpressive offenses. So I will give you one over for this week, however. And that's a player prop for Nick Chubb to have over 17.5 rush attempts. So he had 18 last week against the Bengals. So he did hit this last week. It's at minus 125. However, the Browns had 40 rushing attempts last week against the Bengals, and I actually see them going over that 40 attempts total for a team. And if we're just assuming that Nick Chubb's getting half while everyone else is chunking out the other half, I think it's a pretty good play. And like I said, I don't think they have a lot of faith in Deshaun Watson, and I think they're going to be handing the ball off to their best offensive weapon, who is hands down Nick Chubb. So yeah, I think he gets. I wasn't really confident in yardage or scoring props for him, but I do think he will at least attempt to rush the ball over 17.5 times.
Yeah, and if you look historically, firstly, I just like these three plays because they're all correlated. You're looking at a close game that you kind of favor a home team, and you think it's going to be low scoring, and that correlates to Nick Chubb running the ball not even that much, 18 times. And if you look at games where the Browns have had to run the ball a lot, he averages over this all the time. So unless they're way behind or way in front, and he's getting taken out, he's hitting this number. And I just pulled it up real quick on RotoViz to see what it was. I haven't actually done the calculations, but it's over half the time pretty easily. So I like it a lot.
Yeah, I think the Steelers to beat the Elves, which was my favorite quote of the week from Jamar Chase last week, is that's perfect to the Elves is pretty hilarious. And I think the Elves do lose tomorrow. So what's that? Is it Brownie the Elf? I think that's the name.
Something terrible. Like that. That's terrible.
Terrible mascot. Everyone has terrible mascot. Like if you look back to the 50s or whatever, they're all racist and terrible in some way.
I want to
All
say
right.
real
Yeah.
quick, before we jump to the recap, we do have Champions League soccer this week. I hit another soccer play over the weekend with our parlay with Liverpool and Man City. I really am hitting those out of the ballpark right now. I'm on a heater, and I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not scared. I'm finding
Yes.
value here. So please do listen tomorrow and later on in the week. We're going to give you some of those Champions League plays, and it's also just really fun time to take an extra long lunch break and watch a little soccer. But with that being said, let's get ready for our plays of the week. Before we do that, though, do follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and X/Twitter, YouTube, wherever wherever you find your podcast, we are there. If we're not there, shoot me a DM and I will get us there. You can follow him at Doran_Eric. You can follow me at StayFunLaco. Again, please do follow us, rate, review, all the good things. It really does help us out a lot. And for those of you who already have, thank you so much. We continue to grow, and it's been really exciting.
Absolutely. So this is the part of the show where we recap our picks. And again, these are all for Monday Night Football, September 18th. Steve, why don't you go first, and then I'll wrap us up.
Yeah, so I've got two plays for you, both player props. I'm going to go Chris Olave over 4.5 receptions, and then Shaheed over 37.5 receiving yards. Both of these guys hit this at a pretty high clip, and I don't think tomorrow will be any different.
That's great. I got a low-scoring AFC North game, so what I'm going to do, though, is take the home team on the money line because I like the value the best, and I think they have just as good of a chance of winning as the Browns. I'm going to take the under 38 on that Steelers-Browns game, and then I think there's a lot of rushing attempts sitting out there for Nick Chubb because I'm a Deshaun Watson hater. So that is it. That is it for today. And yeah, let's go finish this out strong. We could come back here up so many more units than what we came in here announcing today. So let's go do it. Peace.